Walking through the Ackland Art Museum, many pieces caught my eye. This piece of artwork, Kill for Peace by Carol Summers, was particularly intriguing. While art uses its aesthetic qualities to draw you to it, this artwork had almost the opposite effect. A large red X across the picture contradicts pretty much all of my ideas of what I consider appealing. As I approached it, I thought, why ruin it with such an unattractive marking? I knew there was a history and meaning behind this red X, and I wanted to find out for myself. After a little bit of research, I concluded that Carol Summers' piece, Kill for Peace, protested against the war in Vietnam through the use of bold strokes, emotional facial expressions, and faded screen printing to gain empathy from her viewers. Created in 1967, Carol Summers made Kill for Peace as a part of a group called Portfolio Artists and Writers Protest against the war in Vietnam. The war began in 1954 and was a conflict that pitted the communist regime of North Vietnam and its southern allies, Viet Cong, against South Vietnam and its allies, the United States. More than 3 million people were killed, more than half were Vietnamese civilians. This war really shook up the American people. Many artists felt that their mastery of image making should be put in the service of social and political change. Carol Summers used her artistic abilities to raise awareness and wanted to grab people's attention. Pop art was a popular art movement in the 50s and 60s, which I believe influenced this artwork. Pop art presented a challenge to traditions of fine art by sometimes removing material from its known context and combining it with unrelated material. The red X is a great example of this, as it seems out of place and unusual. The red X is saying that what is going on in the picture is not acceptable. If you notice that the two lines that create the X are strokes of paint, I think this brings out the artist's voice and her feelings against the war. The fact that the red X is paint strokes implies that a person made it, stressing the power of protest. The white dots going across the middle may be symbolic as well. They could be creating a map-like visual where X marked the spot during the Vietnam War. The white dots could also be separating the photo in half, creating a sense of separation or breakage. The use of screen printing allowed Summers to create an old and distraught vibe in the artwork. I think she used this method to further the viewer's understanding of these war conditions and support her protest. Because a woman and 2 children are the subject, the My Lai massacre came to my mind. The artist may have chosen this event in history because it represents a very cruel time of the war. My Lai was a village of about 700 inhabitants in Vietnam. 3 platoons of U.S. troops had been told to expect to find members of Viet Cong in the vicinity as the village. When the troops from one platoon moved through the village, they started to fire at the villagers. These were women, children, and the elderly, as the young men had gone to the paddy fields to work. Photos taken at the scene of the massacre show bodies of what can only be very young children. The mother seems to have a very worried facial expression. Carol Summers uses these expressions to express the cruel war conditions and that these are people very much in danger. The 2 children are both looking away from the viewer, creating a sense of despair as well. The child in the mother's arms invokes an emotional connection. These emotions on the mother and the children's faces made me feel sad and empathetic.